29? Okay. And we actually got pretty good tutorials last time, so let's see if we can do that again. I'm gonna start charging up the chomp. Like, I'm already holding the button for that. But you want to mash left on your D-pad. You have to hit it 4 times to get rid of the tutorial text. Make sure you do that before you attack. Also, I'm trying to make sure to charge up this chomp all the way. Fucking Keith. Majima loves to not hit enemies that are already on the ground. Yeah, same idea there, except you have to hit left on the D-pad and B on some of those dialogues. And there's pretty much always a fight right here. We want to purposely get into this one so we can go up the stairs faster. Luckily that area trigger works, but there's going to be a handful throughout the run where area triggers don't actually cancel a fight, unfortunately. Be careful with these guys with the dialogue, because if you start going into the pause menu way too fast, which has happened a few times to me, the NPC actually breaks, and you'll still see the little, like, objective marker on your minimap, but you can't talk to them anymore because something breaks about them. Oh. And let's see what we can get with this barrel. Still needed 2 swings. That's okay. Alright, let's see if there's a fight spawn, which there usually is. I'll probably just have to save load it away. Sometimes you get, like, slightly lucky and they're at a point where you can either go wide or, like, just try to slide past them. But a lot of times it's like that, and you just have to do a save and load. These button prompts here are almost always the same except for the last one. We got kind of lucky there, they gave me an easy one. Sometimes they'll, like, throw you a curveball and they'll make the last prompt, like, the alternating ones. So you don't want to just assume which one they gave you.
You're not ready. I can get serious when I have to.
Same thing here, you can just get into the fight, it'll get cancelled at the top of the stairs. We come over here. And I've gone back and forth about this fight in New Game Plus because the chomp is pretty good, especially when it's fully charged. Actually, I'll just do that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good still for New Game Plus. There's also a pole you can pick up behind all those guys, and you can just do light attacks with the pole. And I think it takes probably a similar amount of time. But sometimes you can get like a nice multi-hit with that chomp.
Sorry, won't help. I'll beat you senseless.
My time to shock. Now this is a laugh.
ここが集落だよ。行こうとしてるお店はあそこ。
Eh? Oh, I don't like these fight spawns.
I'll beat you to
Okay.
You'll regret this.
You still gotta feed these two. I actually, for a while, I didn't have them maxed out. So I was curious if it made a difference, but unfortunately it doesn't. And we come over here and we have to fight Keith. You can grab the barrel. You can do a chomp too, but sometimes he'll block you. I'm actually debating if there's a point in doing the heat move there. But to be honest, if you don't do it, like, you're still waiting for him to do the deadly attack either way. I like to use the clones there. Just makes that fight super quick. And here I'll open up with a chomp. And he gets the HP gate pretty quick. And this is a QTE that you want to fail. It'll only save you about a second, but, you know, that adds up. Actually gonna open up with a heat move here. That's why I put on the Goro Goro beer. So it can help us charge up the madness gauge a little bit faster than normal. And looks like the auto splitting is working for the boss splits, so that's pretty cool. Personally, I'm not super used to using boss splits. I pretty much in all the rest of the runs I do chapter splits. But the unfortunate thing about Pirate Yakuza here is chapter 2 is insanely long compared to the rest of the game. Like the other chapters, I mean.
この島にはよく来るんか？俺は漁師から魚を買うくらいだな。
Come on. So it just felt like maybe this is one of those runs where you might want to, you know, break up your splits a little more. It's so hard to get an idea of how good the pace is when the chapter 2 is like frickin' 50 minutes long. That was a bad fight spawn there. And we got another one. Oh, you ass. Fuck off, Jason. Oh my god. We want to pass this QTE. And then that heat move helped us charge up the madness. Now we have it again. Yeah, we're gonna get pushed into another tutorial. This one's gonna be about sailing and ship combat. You want to start sailing forward here. Oop, we don't have to shoot yet. Wait for each prompt to come up before you start the next thing. There we go. And now, like I said, we have the Madness gauge filled up, so we can bust out the clones for this fight too. Okay, that was kind of an awkward slowdown. Unfortunate. And this next fight is when they introduce Sea Dog style, which we're gonna go ahead and use for this fight. You'll notice I'm holding down L2, it's because it just helps prevent us from accidentally using heat moves. Please, someone hit this man, I swear to God. Someone will do a deadly attack, and it's like, I'm trying to already evade, which initiates, you know, doing a mortal reversal. And somehow you can, like, easily miss the window, and then Majima will get very, like, this long drawn-out animation of getting knocked down. And even though there's a skill that you can unlock to quickly get up, it's like, when you get knocked down by a deadly attack, it doesn't work.
あそこに何か浮いてるよ。
お前使えるものが入ってるかもしれんな。
壊してみようよ、船長。
Okay, they just want us to go to a treasure island. But they're going to show us another tutorial, and that's for what they call deck mode while you're sailing. And it just shows you how to, like, revive somebody if they took too much damage. Come over here and get ready to aim at the enemy ship there. You want to turn around. And then we just have to get our way to the end here.
なんやあの樽金がたんまり入っとるやないか。どうせ人が盗んだもんや。怖いって中身見てみ。
And we have to interact with this treasure chest at the end, and for some reason it's a little weird, so like, you'll see me slow down a bit here. Oh, yep. Yeah, Jason actually does a good bit of damage to the bear there. But oftentimes the bear will knock the barrel out of my hands. And here we can actually put our rings on. And yeah, so what I was doing before was I would just do the 6 shark rings because they have the best damage. A pistol ring and the champion's ring. The champion's ring constantly like helps us recharge heat during combat, which is really useful. And I still have that for this run, but what I did was before I was using the pistol ring. And the pistol ring lowers the amount of time it takes to charge up the pistol attack. But what I've noticed over several runs of having the pistol ring is that, yeah, it technically does make charging the pistol faster, but it's not like a massive difference.
こりゃ視界が悪いの。
周りに何があるかわからないね。
And so this time I put on the full Mad Dog set. And that's the Hanya ring, and then the snake and the Sakura rings. When you have all three of those on, it makes the attack speed noticeably faster. When you're in Mad Dog style. And unfortunately, when we get these fights, like you see those ship fights on the water, when you get close to them, you can do a save and then load. Much like, you know, regular fights. And it will help get rid of them, but sometimes, if you do it too early when you're, like, a little too far away, it won't really work. Or sometimes you just get super unlucky and it just spawns right back in. Classic Yakuza. There, I try to wait for one of the NPCs to say something about the fight as like kind of an audio cue to start doing the save load. And yeah, they just want us to make our way all the way up to Nele Island. There's these like little checkpoints here that you're seeing me. I'm not actually unlocking it, but it's there. Basically like a little checkpoint where you can change anything you want to, like your equipment, your crewmates, all that stuff. And I think this is already like 4 save loads for this early in the run. Actually, I don't recall where, I didn't get a chance to look at how much my madness is charged up. I was debating if it's worth having madness saved up for the fight we're about to do. Because I think usually I don't have it, and that's why I just do other stuff. Because I don't have really much other option. So I guess let's see what we get here. If I don't have madness, I'm just gonna do what I usually do, which is, the boomerang attack with the cutlass. Yeah. Yeah, the boomerang shreds pretty well on New Game Plus. And also, with New Game Plus, you have more skills unlocked than, you know, any percent. So there's a skill that, with both the, like, pistol, once we get it, the boomerang, I think with Chomp as well, if you fully charge those attacks and hit, like, multiple enemies with one of those attacks, it'll help charge your madness gauge. There's another fight with them. And same thing, I'm just gonna try to shred with this boomerang attack here. Yeah, not too bad. Then we just talked to Masaru down here.
Oh.
Make sure you don't just boost away. You want to actually go prepare to sail, then go to Madlantis. And then we have to do another fight here. We'll have several fights in the run, actually, with the Men in Black here. Another Yakuza classic. Ah! And now here's Madlantis. We're gonna get introduced to the batting center minigame, which is actually very fun in this game. Definitely recommend. It's a lot, I don't know, something about hitting like cannonballs at a bunch of barrels that explode makes it more fun than the traditional, you know, batting cages. This is another fight where I go back and forth between using the clones, but I don't know. Because the thing is, if you bust out the clones, they'll help you take care of, like, a lot of the smaller guys pretty early. But then Keith eventually gets that, like, bit of an HP gate where he's gonna do a deadly attack. And even the clones won't do much damage until, like, that little cooldown passes. So yeah, definitely kind of debating what might be better for that fight. Ideally, you wouldn't get into combat here. I'm taking a risk here because I'm like really was hoping that they would de-aggro. But yep, so that was actually pretty lucky. Because this is another area trigger, but being in combat will not do anything to stop combat. Nope.
Oh.
Alright, now we want to continue sailing to that Treasure Island. And I think actually something might be wrong with my boss splits. Because actually maybe not, let's see. I'll have to see if this splits before Captain Beef. Yeah, it did split. Alright, I think I might be accidentally missing a split then. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to look at those splits. But that should be right now.
Captain Beef, よろしく.
Yeah, we just get this lighthouse so we can finally try to start making our way towards Honolulu. From here, we're just gonna do a lot of sailing. And I can see also a bit of save loading because we have some fights we don't want to get into. Actually, for all the small kind of complaints that stack up about this game, and especially this, like the way they've done New Game Plus in this game, I will say in general that... Oops, hold on. I feel like RGG have done a pretty good job getting this game to run really smoothly. Like, I do drop down to medium settings to do speedruns, but I felt like there were a lot of places, especially odd water, like swimming and things like that, in Yakuza 8, where I would get a lot of frame dips and it would be like struggling to run nicely, even on like the medium settings. And I don't really have any of those issues in this game. And we don't need to unlock this lighthouse. Can if you want to, but not much of a use for it, for what we're doing. Every time your, like, little boost meter under the health bar runs out, you just want to get ready to boost again, pretty much. Now we're just getting our way over to Honolulu. Alright, so now we're finally, like, at Honolulu, at the beach. So you get into this random fight. And much like the rest of the early run, I'm just gonna chomp them. You don't even have to fully charge it. The one guy has a little extra HP, but, you know, just an extra little light attack does the job. Here you see there's a fight. We're gonna actually purposely get into fights in this part because we run faster. And the place that we're going is an area trigger that doesn't matter if you're already in a fight.
最後に会ったの俺が3歳くらいの時
Just running over here, and Metza had helped me, like, with this part. You want to come over here and just watch for the taxi to get unlocked. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a little delayed, so you kind of have to really hope that you know, got the area right. Oops. I'll go this way.
最後に会ったの俺が3歳くらいの時なんだってだからあんま覚えてないしうちはもともとみんなでホノルルシティにいたんだよねでも俺が発作を起こさないよう
Then we just got introduced to the revolve bar. And this is actually why I call the split Klona's long lost cousin. Because we are gonna protect some Kamalop, who is like a mascot for Kamurocho. And he looks like, honestly, he was pulled right out of one of the Klonoa games. Awesome games, by the way, if you haven't checked those out. I love Klonoa. Oh, I don't like this fight spawn. Okay. Okay, so for Clark, we want to just grab something here. Oops. Shh. And do a heat move before he comes and hits you. And he's HP gated, so you have plenty of time to just stand here and do it again as soon as you have heat. And now we're just gonna taxi to that taxi that we unlocked. And we want to run over to Julie's shop. You actually don't want to get into a fight here because the area trigger will not work. Apologize, and I might let you go. You want to come off to the right here by this sign before you go inside, because that unlocks that taxi to be dropped off right in front of her shop. And here you're actually blocked from fast traveling because the game wants to force you to run into a sub-story, which introduces the segue, which is pretty useful for just, you know, running around faster. And the cool thing is on New Game Plus, after you finish the sub-story, it'll look like whatever you did to customize the segue on your clear data. It'll take that appearance after the, you know, sub-story's done. It's just another 2 guys, so you could just chomp them. And then we would just want to go back to the revolve bar. And here they're introducing the friend system, where you just wave at people. And you can make friends in the game. It's not very relevant to New Game Plus. But I've seen the runners use it that are doing any percent in pro. Here you don't technically have to change clothes, but the game introduces the change box, so you can spend about 1 second of time, at least with loads removed, and it'll put on whatever you had you were wearing in your clear data, which is super cool. So now we can do the rest of the run as Goromi. And I think on my Sea Dog outfit I have the, like, vampire costume equipped. I just want to get out of here and hop on the Segway and see it'll just take whatever you had equipped. I made this really gaudy gold thing. We're gonna make our way over to the shopping mall. We want to try not to get into a fight too close. That fight looks a little far enough that it doesn't matter. Because this is another area trigger by this big tree, but doesn't work if you're in a fight. Here they're just introducing, like, this little system where you can do photos. Now we can just get out of this area. Make our way over here. I don't know what that guy is literally running in circles. What was that? The dragon engine. Yeah, when I first started this run, I was actually worried that we would have to charge the Segway, but we don't really have to. You don't actually use it that much in the run. It's just a really unusually long load here. And here, this dude is Domingo. Just grab a piece of furniture and do a heat move. And he is done. We hop back on the Segway. And we're gonna make our way to Julie, who's that NPC we were talking to earlier at her, like, shop. She does, like, repairs and things like that. She has another shop that we're having to go to. Gotta cut through the mall here. The game's trying to give you a little, like, overstimulation simulator where you get to hear the same NPCs say the same couple lines all at the same time. You want to look up with the camera first there, because aiming the chain hook. Sorry, I keep wanting to call it hook shot, like I'm playing like Zelda or something. Nice, the one shot. Alright, from here we want to hop back on the Segway and go across the street. There's a taxi we're trying to unlock. Just make sure it's unlocked. There's oftentimes a fight spawn there. So I'm just trying to be careful. I don't have a full handle on, like, the area trigger to unlock the taxi, and sometimes it doesn't pop up on screen right away. So I just open the map really quick to make sure it looks like I got it. And they just want to introduce us to some stuff you can do, like, on the deck of the ship. But luckily we don't have to really do much of that. This is a terrible menu. By yours truly. Yeah, that was a really terrible demonstration of that menu, but you want to assign all the crewmates that you want to for the run. There might be a time later where I have to move somebody around because of people getting moved around for story reasons. People might get removed from the crew and stuff. Oh yeah, but what I was saying before is when you're gonna use the chain hook for traversal, you want to aim the camera where you want to shoot the chain hook first. Because it's very, like, slow to aim it when you're holding L2.
I'll beat you to a pulp. Ready to die?
Another place where you don't want to fall into a fight, if you can help it.
Oh.
And we're gonna want to just turn the ship around. Go back to Madlantis. That was a little risky with that fight spawn. And here we get introduced to the Pirate Coliseum. And you just want to, in basically all these Coliseum fights, you want to get rid of the boss ship first. In that case, there was only one ship anyway. Unfortunately, that guy was like all the way across the ship. So here we just want to run back towards the Coliseum. It's actually good to get into a fight while we're still up here.
You're gonna beg. You're gonna regret
It'll just help us hopefully get there a little quicker. If we can stay in combat at the stairs, we can jump down. Nice. Didn't need anything from that, but it helps despawn that fight right there. And we might end up having to do the same thing on the way back down. Sometimes there's a fight, like, in the... coming up the stairs here. Try to turn the camera a little early. You just come up and back around here.
Get some good use out of this.
Sometimes they just like to block fast traveling because they want to kind of, you know, force you to get into a certain cutscene trigger for the story. Then I'm actually gonna come up here. There's a guy that you can use to like fast travel. And just second guessing myself on where we're fast traveling. We have to go talk to Jason. And there goes my splits. Okay, again, try to aim up before you shoot the chain hook. And then here it kind of pushes you into doing this weird, like, parrying. Right, then we just... Usually the charged, like, gun attack works pretty well on them. Trying to do this heat move. This'll take care of them. And here, this is why I was saving the madness gauge. I'm gonna bust out the clones for this fight. And as soon as we regain control of Majima, I'm just gonna switch back to Mad Dog and take the shadow clones out. And just basically go to town. Then we come in here. You want to fail this QTE? It's quite a bit faster. And then we just have to make our way back to the ship, Goromaru. I like to use R2 to, oh, that's not good. Alright. Luckily they de-aggroed. That's pretty risky though. There's Misaki, that's another, actually she's pretty good as a crewmate. Might swap her out, later. Because a bit later we'll get even more NPCs we can potentially add. And now at this point, we just need to do this little thing called the Devil Flags, which is just sailing around to a couple different islands where they're at. Then you just pick, you don't technically have to, but I feel like it helps just to have more NPCs with you. Assign 2 more NPCs. Alright, nice. As you can see, sometimes it's better to just try to take care of the guys that are mowing you down with guns first. Quite a bit of save loads this run, unfortunately. But yeah, you see on the mini-map, as we get closer, there's another one of those, like, double flag bosses we're gonna have to fight.
あれはクジラだな。相変わらずでかいね。
Them commenting on the whales and dolphins and stuff actually does remind me of, when I was younger, my parents have taken me on, like, a couple cruise vacations, and once in a blue moon, like, maybe once or twice on those, I've seen, like, dolphins. Just honestly super cool to see in person. Even though it was, like, out the window. Dolphins are cool. Not as cool as seals, though. Honestly, seals are the best.
なかなか手強そうや。
Just another island fight. Oops. I'm getting ahead of myself. We have to defeat the ship first. And then another deck fight as well. I had Majima continuously try to, like, hook shot onto the mini-boss there. Like, the leader. And it just wasn't working until one of the NPCs got him. Yeah, now we want to go to another island called Rocka Island. And luckily, you don't have to worry about, like, random ship fights here. You just gotta boost your way up. For some reason, they don't have, like, those rings you can sail through. You just have to use your own ship's boost. But they provide you with some extra fuel. Oh, and the other cool thing about New Game Plus, which I forgot to point out, is your ship, the Goromaru, will retain any cosmetics you apply to it. Probably should have turned the other direction. Sometimes it can be hard to, like, gauge that on the spot. Alright, nice. We just go ashore and do another one of these island fights here.
お宝の匂いがするで。
Actually gonna go ahead and do this heat move, because some of these enemies have a lot of health. Alright, nice. Sometimes you'll see the NPCs that we brought with us like glowing red. It's because they want to do a team heat move together. But the unfortunate thing is that a lot of them have very long, slow animations that don't make it super worth doing. And here we get introduced to the what's called the Dark Instrument. I always want to call it the Divine Instrument because of Okami, but no, it's the Dark Instrument. And unfortunately, even on New Game Plus, we only get access to this violin here. Because you actually have to engage with the like Devil Flag's progression to unlock the other instruments. Oops. I was actually not trying to do that, but when you accidentally do a heat move, the one thing you can, I guess, tell yourself that it's good for is it really charged up the... Actually, I'm doing this. I was gonna say it charged up our madness. Of course, you'll see actually several times during a run that there will be like one dude left with very small HP, or sometimes even he's got like 1 HP, and he's just gonna block like multiple attacks. He'll block like, I swear, like 3 combos in a row if you don't do something to guard break him. Yeah, we can finally fast travel back to Honolulu and get this chapter closed off. And here we're actually going to taxi to that taxi that I unlocked with the Segway earlier after we like got the chain hook tutorial. So this is why I went over there, so that we can quickly get to the end of like the cutscene marker here. Luckily, it doesn't matter if you get into a fight there. And yeah, finally the end of chapter 2. Almost an hour into the run. Well, over an hour RTA. We want to just go ahead and talk to Jason. Go back to Nelly Island.
船長 お疲れ様です。お疲れさん。お疲れ。
I think if you hadn't used the instrument where I did in that fight, this coming up might be a decent fight to use that in. But I don't think we have... Yeah, we barely have any madness, but that's fine. We can open this fight up with a charge shot, because everybody's grouped up pretty nicely. Oops. Alright, I waited for him to get, like, the HP gate, like he was gonna do the deadly attack, and then just cancel him out with a heat move. You just want to get out of here. And here is Sayajima. I'm gonna try to switch to Mad Dog before I start doing anything here, if I can. Grab a chair and do a heat move. He gets HP gated. You want to fail this QTE. It's quite a bit slower if you pass it. Just make sure you have your heat built up before you try to do the heat move, or else you'll accidentally do just a heavy attack. But here we get back to the ship and they introduce the fact that you can get Minami and Nishida on your crew. We're not going to do that right now though. We have to rest at the couch. And we're trying to go back to Honolulu, but the game kind of interrupts what you're trying to do here and introduces a sub-story for Masaru. where he's like all depressed because he wants to, I guess, date a Minato girl. But luckily, we don't have to do that for the speedrun. Just hop on the Segway and we're making our way over to this next fight here. And actually what I used to do was I would restore my heat with the menu, even though we have the Champions Ring. It takes about maybe 3 seconds or so to build up heat with just the ring. But yeah, I'm just gonna take care of all his goons first, and then just grab that trash can and do a heat move. And at that point, it just kind of saves you a menu. We come back to Revolve and we're gonna talk to Kason. And it introduces us to Mismatch. She's from Yakuza 8. She wants you to pay some money, but luckily we don't have to do that. Because that's all for the Minato girl sub-stories, which I'm not the biggest fan of the actual sub-stories, but they are worth doing when you play casually. Because once you do all those sub-stories, you get all the girls for your crew. And they're actually pretty good. Just head back to Madlantis. I can't believe my auto captions understood Madlantis. That's so funny. And then I said it again and it thought I said Atlantis. Alright, but we're going back to the Coliseum. Hey, Sailor. And now we have to do the Tournament of Novices and the first Tournament of Captains. If you're really good at aiming the rocket launcher, it might be worth doing it there because that ship has so little HP. But I'm not very good at that, so I just go ahead and ram into it pretty much. And then this ship has more HP anyway, so I just charge forward, start attacking. Then the damage like just bumping into the other ship is enough. Oh, okay.
時間食うてもうたわ。
Then I think it actually does kick us out of the Coliseum, so we're gonna just skip a cutscene and go right back in. Yeah, just turn around. And just talk to him like that. And Tournament of Captains this time. And I think I accidentally, I don't know if I'm missing a split again. I'm gonna have to revisit this, unfortunately. Yeah. Gonna have to edit my splits there. That's fine. Like I said at the beginning of the run, I'm super not used to using boss splits. We can fast travel over to the Luxury Palace Hotel.
Oh.
This fight's pretty simple. I'm just gonna boomerang. Usually just aim the boomerang for those two guys on the left and then just start attacking everybody on the right. Tried to go into that cave to like help funnel the enemies, but it's not the most consistent. Hey Fox, how's it going? Thanks for the good luck.
なんや行き止まりかいな。何か仕掛けでもあるんちゃうか。あ あの光ってるランプ怪しいの。またスイッチかよ。
You doing okay? I'm doing pretty good. Luckily, these guys, you don't really have to parry necessarily. You can just, like, poke them. There's kind of, like, a little bit of a rhythm to it. I may run through the laser hallway, yeah. Also, I always accidentally switch to Mad Dog there. Oh, was not expecting this one, but let's see if it takes them both out in one go. It is pretty long animation though, unfortunately. Maybe not bad. I almost never see that heat move. Yeah, this is another QTE coming up. It is faster to fail this one by about 2 seconds. And it looks like I actually don't have madness, so we'll see if we build any during this fight. Probably not the end of the world if we don't, but that's actually kind of weird, because usually I have full madness by this part. We're gonna get introduced to a giant version of Yappy-kun. And we want to basically, as soon as this fight starts and we get control of Majima again, get behind him and attack his back. There's like a big switch on his back. Oops. That's a really unfortunate time loss. Because usually I take the clones out and they help like melt Yappy. But I did not have madness to be able to do that. Alright, here we fight Rodriguez. This is one of the very few, if not only, boss fights where he doesn't get HP gated. There's no QTE. So I'm just gonna do a heat move immediately. And it should do them all in one go. There we go. And there, now we have the madness.
Yo.
No, thanks for the raid. How's it going? Hey, Doobie. Hey, Con. Thanks for the good luck. Really? Fuck out of here. How was the run?
Hoo-hoo!
Big no-no subbed at tier 1 for 4 months.
No, thank you for the sub. Oop. It happened again. Fuck me. This happened last time too. $142.36. I knew you were gonna just come snatch the record. But no, GG. Also, my splits are a little bit messed up. I had to like undo a couple because I missed a few when I was setting them up. They're definitely working, but I think it's my error of like missing a couple of those splits. You think it's the auto splitter being scuffed? Well, I know one of them for sure I missed because when I did the Tournament of Captains, I accidentally only had one instead of both of them.
This place is pirate heaven. Best of the damn place. Unbelievable.
Say that the fuck again.
Splits on the first Captains, but not the second? Oh, okay. Do you see that amount of enemies? Like, what the hell?
Get your ass.
Got some of those last night. They're evolving. Okay, back to the Coliseum. Fresh splits, hold on. I guess I'm just not familiar enough with live split to, like, I've never done boss splits on any run before. The extra splits, yeah. I wasn't sure if there was a way to, like, set that up with my existing times or my final time. If there was, I would like to have the final time on it, but I figured maybe I just have to do a fresh set. Can input them manually under edit split. Majima does not know who to target, as usual.
Conqueror just subbed the tier 1.
On.
Yay.
Sorry, 1 second. Oh my god, dude. Thank you for the sub 6 months ahead, damn. Fuck, dude. They were all the way back here. Somebody take care of this dude. Jeez.
手間取らせんなよ。
Hit with the last minute kick, yeah. Okay, they're back to Honolulu. I actually hear myself because my dumbass didn't like mute the tab. When I was like still lurking on No stream, and now I'm hearing myself on a low volume. I'm gonna have to wait for one of those like unskippable cutscenes to try to tab over real quick and close it. Rated it to yourself as an experience, yeah. I'm here twice. Streamer is here twice. Oops. Terrible shot. Nice. Get out of here, dude. Awkward when you leave a stream open on your main computer and suddenly it's on your own channel, yeah. Ow. Okay. Split name, yeah. Oop. I think at my chapter 2 end, I literally just called the split chapter 2 ends question mark. Every time. Alright, whatever. I always pick like a bad direction to turn the ship. I'm really bad with like left and right as it is. I like directions and shit. Turning the ship is always bad, yeah. Fuck, dude. How much easier the squid would be if he wasn't, yeah. I mean, I guess at least running off a fresh split is like taking some of the edge off. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe this feels kind of quick, but I don't know. super important, go to the Coliseum. Before you fast travel. Totally don't know anyone who's made that mistake. Yeah. Who would do that? We might have been able to slip past those guys, but I wouldn't trust it with this game. Really close to a 2-cycle squid, if only we can find a way to clean up the movement. Yeah, I feel like most of it is like how slow we turn around makes it very difficult. Because I pretty much, even when I was practicing last night, it was always going into a 3rd cycle. Did you keep the laser? Because I've tried both laser and energy, and I feel like I get similar times. Like, I did another practice before I started this run with energy, and I felt like it was actually a little bit better, so it might still be worth switching as long as you don't forget to do it, you know, before talking to... what's his face? Tucker? Because if I had forgotten to switch before Tucker, I wouldn't bother going over there to do the extra menu, because I feel like I would just lose too much time. But if I can remember, then I think I might try with energy again. But... oh.
See her.
I wonder if we can also ram it. Ah! Dude. Fucking interact box with these, like, NPC people. It's like a whole giant wall. Okay. Take care of this guy. You don't think ramming does anything? Yeah, I don't think... I probably have by accident, but I haven't really, like, tried to do it. You tried with the launcher and the side guns. Yeah, I'm very back and forth on it. Oop. Yeah, maybe I'll, when I go in there, I'll try, like, saving, you know, doing the rocket launcher and stuff to the last or the last little bit when he's got a tiny bit of health left. Okay. Okay. And Mortimer seems to go down pretty consistently in 2 parries if you don't do any like poking in between. So I usually just hope that he'll be decently aggressive here. Yep, nice. Yeah, I think this is where I should switch at this point. Yeah.
さてさてどれがええかの最高ややったるわ
Oops, fuck. Pointless time loss. Also, I don't know why I went on this fucking side of the table. Good job.
味は
For variety. I think it, you know, when you're in that room earlier in the run, sometimes I do go to the right, but it's not really necessary at that point either, so might as well try to be used to going on the left. Oop. I did that again.
Captain.
Why is the font change not consistent?
船長頑張って。
Alright, we're just gonna come over here.
船長触手を狙って。船長目だよ、目を狙うんだ。
Kushika Fukujoshi, Akonami wa. 行くぞ。
No, he's already going down. Oh, okay. Whatever. Only thing that looks better is the energy locks onto the tentacles better. I think that might be the case. I mean, it's a fairly small menu to do, as long as you don't forget to do it before talking to Tucker, and so that way you don't have to like run up those stairs. Dude. Lasers have less range. When you turn around to hit the head, you might have trouble. Yeah, I feel like the energy might be like the safer option in that case. Because I saw Peace Scholar, I think, wait, was he using energy on any percent? I don't remember. Either way, it was pretty fast. Energy, yeah. Please take a hit. Oh my god. Okay. Wonder if the coconut gun is faster. Yeah, I've debated that too, because the damage difference isn't massive between the different, like, upgraded guns. Nice. Jesus. 450, and then the fire is 400. Yeah, and I think the frost is similar too, but the frost probably won't do shit at all to the squid. It doesn't, sadly. You tried, yeah. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Okay, nice. The screen always faking me out that it's about to be done loading. Fuck off, Shigaki. Jeez. Perpetual loads the game, exactly. Another QTE we want to fail. Fuck, every time against this man. Jason with the backup. Nice.
Yakuza.
すごい怪力。
ちょっとこんなもんや。わかったわかった。
Yeah, usually like 2 good charge shots does it there. Okay, luckily that last guy was near the exit. A little late for that, Saejima. Nice, the one shot. I almost never get that.
Lei, それとも。Okay.
Ow. Okay, I had time to go mute my tab.
あそこから行ける。
ええんやね。よっしゃ、ほな任された。
Failed split. Hold on. Fuck you, dude. Oh, it's broken. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, there we go. Real Dragon Engine moment, yeah. For real. Yeah, not letting you use the heat move with heat. You love it when the game works, right? Not me having expected the transition phase, because it almost always does work, so kind of weird. Nice. Who are these guys? Yeah, I made a green and a red gem. Nice. I accidentally split, but that's fine.